Hello, I'm going to discuss redox reactions. Oxidation number rules. We have some rules concerning the oxidation number. The first one is that the oxidation number of elements in their uncombined state equal to 0. So sodium, it's not combining with any other atom. So the oxidation number here is 0. Oxygen is not combined with any other element, so it is 0. If we have iron, if it is not combined with any other metal, it is 0. If we have hydrogen, if it is not combined with any other metal, it is 0. So this is the first rule. The second rule says that the oxidation number of monoatomic ion is the same as the charge on the ion. So if I have here a compound, sodium chloride, the whole compound equal to 0. But inside the compound, the sodium is a positive ion. So the oxidation number is positive 1 because it is in group 1, and all in group 1, their oxidation number is positive 1. Chlorine in the compound, it's reacting with the sodium. So it has an oxidation number the same of the valency. Chlorine in group 7. So the oxidation number is negative 1. But inside the compound, the whole oxidation number is 0. So if I add positive 1 plus negative 1, so here the sum is 0. The same for magnesium oxide. Magnesium in the periodic table, the valency or the oxidation number, it's in group 2, so it is positive 2. Oxidation is in group 6 and the positive, and it has an oxidation number negative 2. The same, positive 2, negative 2 equal to 0. So here the oxidation number of the whole compound is 0, but still we can go for each ion alone by knowing the other. The sum of the oxidation numbers in a compound always 0. Sodium chloride equals 0, water equals 0, calcium carbonate equals 0. All the summation of any of these compounds always equal to 0. The fourth rule says that the sum of the oxidation number in an ion is equal to the charge on the ion. So if I have sulfate, that means that the oxidation number is negative 2 as the radical has a valency negative 2. Hydroxide, one oxygen atom and one hydrogen atom. So the valency is negative 1. Carbonate, negative 2. Nitrate, it has a valency or oxidation number negative 1, and so on. We can also get some of these elements if we couldn't know. We could be asked like, get the oxidation number for sulfur in this ion. So we're going to go for an equation. We're going to consider sulfate. The valency of it is negative 2. And the sulfur unknown, we don't know what is the oxidation number, so we keep it. Then we know that the oxidation number of oxygen, which is in group 6, the oxidation number is negative 2. How many atoms do we have here? It's 4. So we're going to multiply the number of atoms 4 equal negative 2. Now we're going to calculate it. Sulfur, negative 2 times 4, negative 8, equal negative 2. Then the sulfur equal, the negative 8 will go to the other side carrying positive charge, negative 2. So the sulfur at the end, the valency of sulfur is positive 6. So we can get one of the other if we know, because we know that all the radicals each one has a different oxidation number than the other. Now what's meant by oxidation process and the reducing and oxidizing agent? Oxidation process happens when loss of electrons happens or an increase in the oxidation number. For example, iron positive 2 in the reactants could be changed into iron 3 positive. That means that the oxidation number of iron here 2 is 2 positive in the reactants, and in the products the oxidation number is 3 positive. So what happened here to the oxidation number? From 2 to 3, there is an increase in the oxidation number. That means which process happens? Is it reduction or oxidation? Of course, it is oxidation process. So we can see here that the iron in an oxidation process is oxidized, the same name of the process. So if the iron exists in the oxidation process, that means that the iron is oxidized. But still the iron to itself is reduced. It lost 1 electrons. So we say it is a reducing agent. So this is a little bit confused. So, but for facility, you can just know that any of the ion, when it exists in oxidation process, it's always oxidized, and itself is reducing agent because it loses electrons. For the opposite process, the same for reduction. It's gaining of electrons. So, and also there will be decrease in oxidation number. The example here, chlorine gas gain 2 electrons and become chlorine ion. What happened to the oxidation state here? For chlorine, it is not combined with any other atom, so the oxidation number is 0. For chlorine ion, the oxidation number is -1. So what happened to the oxidation? From 0 to -1, the oxidation number decreased. So the process here is called reduction process. And of course, the chlorine in the reduction process is reduced. According to the name, it is reduced. But itself is oxidizing agent. Why? Because chlorine actually gains electrons. So we call it oxidizing agent. We have here iodine changed to iodine. Iodine ion to iodine. What happens? It started like potassium iodide. It was colorless. And when it is added to another substance, it starts to change into brown. So the equation here, iodine carry negative, oxidation number -1, and here iodine, the oxidation number is 0. Actually, from -1 to 0, the oxidation number is increased. So here, increasing in oxidation number means oxidation process. And the potassium iodide here is, according to the name of the process, is oxidized. But still, it is reduced. Why? Because it loses electrons. Okay, let's move to the other example that we have for manganese. Manganite ion, MnO4 negative, it will change to manganite ion. It was purple and it will change to colorless. So what happened to this ion? Here the whole ion has a -1, and here the ion to that is +2. Let's see here, the manganese is +7. If we make an equation, manganese, the oxygen -2 times 4 equal -1. That means -8, -1, it's with the positive, it will become +7. Here, from +7 to +2, what happens? The oxidation number decreased. That means it is a reduction process. That means that the manganese is reduced. Also, at the same time, is an oxidizing agent as it gains electrons. Let's go to the questions. When magnesium is heated with zinc oxide, a reaction occurs. The equation is shown. Which substance is oxidized? As I mentioned, is oxidized mean it is oxidation process. And oxidation comes for abbreviation oil. And oxidation means losing of electrons. So which item here or ion could lose electron? Magnesium here is 0. The oxidation number is 0. it becomes in the magnesium oxide. How we know the oxidation number of magnesium oxide? We must make an equation. Magnesium oxide equals 0. So magnesium we don't know, plus we know the oxygen, -2 equals 0. So the magnesium equal +2. So we have here increase. It started with 0, ended with +2. So oxidation process happens. So magnesium really is oxidized. So the answer is magnesium. When chlorine gas dissolved in water, a reaction occurs. Which row of the table identifies the oxidation number for chlorine in the chlorine-containing species? Chlorine alone without any other atoms, it should be 0. So A is wrong and C is wrong. It could be B or D. HCl. So hydrochloric acid, let's go for it. HCl equals 0. We know that the hydrogen in the periodic table has a valency or oxidation number +1, plus chlorine equals 0. So chlorine equal -1. So we're going to see -1 here and -1 here. So still we don't choose the answer. Then we need to know the other compound, which is HClO chlorate, hydrogen chlorate. So HClO equals 0. So +1, the hydrogen, plus chlorine, I don't know it, plus oxygen, we know from the periodic table it's in group 6, that means that oxidation number is -2. So chlorine equal -2 means +2 to the other side, +1, -1 on the other side. So the chlorine here is +1. So B is wrong answer and D is the correct answer. So the answer is D. For the last question, the equation for redox reaction is shown. Which element is reduced? So reduced means reduction process. Yes, reduction process, Reg. So it's gaining of electrons. So we're going to search for which item here gain electron. Let's start with the chlorine. Chlorine was 0. Let's see the chlorine here. HCl equals 0. The hydrogen is +1. So the chlorine will be -1. So it decreases. So it will never, here, sorry, 0 to -1. So it decreases. So it is a reduction process. It happened a reduction process. So it is reduced. So the answer is A. Okay, thank you.